Alex Gale is a senior editor at Billboard Magazine, joins me now.
How you doing?
One of the most amazing things is David Bowie became a leader, a pioneer, a breaker of barriers for a lot of different kinds of people. Can you kind of put that into perspective, the legacy he leaves?
Yeah, I mean, today everyone's been talking about his legacy and the people he influenced. It's really harder to find people he didn't influence. And not even just in music, but in art, in fashion, in pop culture, just in society as a whole. He was a pioneer in his music, in his visuals, in terms of bringing the gender identity to the forefront, as breaking down those gender lines. He was like really a pioneer in that, and basically influenced every single artist today. I would say definitely in music, but even outside of it. So.
And he did it before it was popular to do that. We were talking about the fact that he was punk before any other artists were really embracing punk. I mean, back still when folk music, and we hadn't even hit the disco era yet, and to see him breaking sort of the electronic music barrier, and then on sexuality, embracing it before he really had the kind of global fame to make it safe to do so.
Yeah, I mean, he was really a chameleon, but also an innovator at the same time. He would pick up on trends and incorporate them into what he was doing, like he did with electronic music. But then he was also at the forefront. I mean, he's like one of the godfathers of glam rock, and even into the 80s when you look at hair metal, he kind of started some of that actually, which is amazing to think about. And then, dabble in electronic music. His last album, Black Star, was actually influenced by Kendrick Lamar's last album, because it was such a jazz-heavy album. And so he was listening to a rapper take on a jazz album, and then he's doing his own version of it.
The other thing is, I mean, artists, musical artists definitely explore topics that are uncomfortable, but for his final published record to be about death and dying is eye-opening. It maybe is an opportunity to spark conversations for a lot of families. What did you make of the video when you saw it?
I mean, the video is just, especially if you watch it today, it's just really scary in some ways and eerie and very touching. I mean, he's a guy who lived his art and became his art. And so it's almost fitting in a poetic way that he had this album that he was making for months. They knew it was probably going to be his last album. It's been described as sort of his parting gift by one of his collaborators. And it comes out on his birthday, and then he dies a few days later. You really can't, it seems like sort of artistically, as sad as it is to lose him, it's sort of a great way to sum him up.
Here's the Instagram post from Iman, who he'd been married to for many, many years. Sometimes you will never know the true value of a moment until it becomes a memory. Such a sad, incredible statement from her, because the person that she lost, of course, is not an icon, not a legend, not a rock artist, but the man that she loved. Alex Gale, thank you so much for joining us today.